Every single one of us in this room right now is experiencing something remarkable. We are all humming with energy. You and me, we're humming at frequencies we can't hear, but can feel. And here's what's incredible. Our beautiful planet is humming too. Earth has a frequency of 7.83 cycles per second. Scientists call this the Schumann resonance. A poet might call it the Earth's heartbeat. And from the moment of the Big Bang nearly 14 billion years ago, our world has been evolving, expanding, and humming with energy. Everything we know, from the stars in the skies to the cells in our bodies, is humming. And somehow, without realizing it, all of us are tuned into that hum. The question is, are we listening? I've been in education for nearly 3 decades, having worked in schools all over the world. And for the first part of my career, I believed education was about delivering content, covering curriculum, preparing students for exams. Though there were moments that quietly challenged that belief, moments I would notice, and then tend to move on. But in July 2016, an experience I have while on a school trip changes my understanding of education. I'm in Peru, the Sacred Valley, hiking the Inca Trail with 15 students. We don't know each other well. I'm new to the school. But as the days pass, our conversations become more open, more honest with each other. On the third day of the hike, around mid-afternoon, we reach the top of a mountain pass, and there on the hillside stands a small wooden house. An elderly woman, no taller than about 4'5", is hanging washing on a makeshift line. She sees our group and she invites us over and then brings us inside her home. And as we step across the darkened doorway, the smell of wood fire smoke fills the air. But we have to tread ever so carefully because racing across the dirt floor in every direction are guinea pigs, which I later learn are a delicacy in Peru. So with us all huddled round, she shares with us her stories of life growing up in the mountains. And you can hear a pin drop. We, staff and students, are completely captivated by her stories. As the afternoon comes to a close, we thank her and we get ready to leave. But before we do, she shares with us one final thought. Here in the Andes, she says, you don't just hike across these mountains. You learn to slow down. Take your time to pay your respects to the Apus, the mountain spirits who guard the Andes and will protect you on your journey. Take your time to pay your respects to Pachamama, the goddess of Mother Earth. But above all, she reminds us, you're not just passing through this place, you're part of it, part of something much bigger. The next morning, before sunrise, we wake ready for our final day. With head torches on, we hike the final stretch across to an ancient stone entrance known as the Sun Gate. We are almost there, though as we arrive, we look up and standing in front of us is one final challenge, an almost vertical 50-step stone staircase known as the Gringo Killer. So in silence we climb step by step. And just as the sky begins to lighten, we reach the top. A quiet hum settles across our group because there, emerging from the mist below, is Machu Picchu. First just shadows, then stone terraces, then the entire ancient city revealing itself in the morning sun. And in that moment, I feel this deep sense of awe. I'm humming with the land. I'm part of something much bigger. And standing there on that mountain with my students, I think this is school. And what if education felt like this for every young person? Because learning is so much more than just understanding about our world. Learning is about finding our place within it. Because you and me, we're not separate from the world around us. We're stardust, we're sound waves, we're frequencies in human form. The carbon in our body, the oxygen in our lungs, the calcium in our bones. These elements were forged in ancient stars that have lived and died long before our existence. We are 100% recycled, reimagined, reassembled, reborn. Our language knows this too. We say, I'm in sync, or this place has a great energy. I like the vibe in here. We might not always have the science to explain it, but we feel it. And maybe you felt it too, when music's made you cry, or when a story's left a lump in your throat, or when a room full of people fell silent at the same time. And that feeling, that's our human hum. But here's what I've been noticing lately, and maybe you have too. The world we are humming in is shifting. We're living at the edge of one of the most profound transformations in human history, and this shift is changing how we live, how we work, and how we learn. From algorithms that decide what you see online, to automation that can handle our tasks, sometimes our world just feels like it's moving a little bit faster than our ability to keep up. Just last month, I'm sitting on a rooftop in Mumbai, India, and I'm watching the sun rise over the city. In the air, it's thick and warm, and the sky is moving from a haze into blue. It's one of those moments that just invites you in to pause and notice. As I'm sitting there, one of my students comes over to me and says, "Hey, Jen, can I talk to you for a moment?" "Of course," I say. So she sits down next to me, hesitating slightly before sharing the following. "I've been using AI to help with my writing," she says. "But now I'm at a point where I don't know which thoughts were originally mine." And hearing that, my heart aches for her a little, because she's not talking about cheating and she's not talking about plagiarism. She's actually asking something much deeper. How do I know what's me? And that question, how do I know what's me, may well become the question of our time, because machines can simulate logic and they can even mimic emotion, but they don't experience relationship. They don't grieve and they don't fall in love, and they don't offer a glance across the room that says, "I see you." Sometimes I think we get so busy processing and producing and optimizing, we forget to just create the time to feel the frequency of being human, to simply be in awe of the world around us. So on that point, let me ask you to take a moment just to reflect on when was the last time that you felt a deep sense of awe. Not just a passing curiosity, but the kind of awe that stops time a little, that makes you feel incredibly small and yet somehow incredibly connected too. A feeling of awe is unique. It often finds us when we least expect it, and it only ever shows up when we're fully engaged in the moment, never while scrolling, never while multitasking. Research from UC Berkeley tells us that experiencing awe makes us more generous, more collaborative, less focused on ourselves. So here's the thought. What if learning in our schools felt more like that? Less about compliance and efficiency and ticking the right box, but imagine schools where awe is the curriculum. Where learning isn't a race, but more of a rhythm, a hum. Because when we take the time to experience awe, to be in a space of compassion and connection, it shifts the question from what do you know to who are you becoming? Now, it would be absolutely fair for any of the teachers in the room here today to be thinking, this all sounds great in theory, but my reality, it's 30 students in my class, 15 learning objectives, 45 minutes for my lesson. The system doesn't give us time for this. And I hear you. Schools can be ridiculously busy places. But what if I told you that slowing down for 1 minute could actually buy you back the other 44 minutes of lesson time? Because here's what I've noticed over the years. When a student is dysregulated, disconnected, or disengaged, no amount of brilliant teaching will land. You can have the world's best lesson plan, but if your student isn't present, you're teaching to an empty room. So here's my invitation. The next time you're standing in front of a group of young people in a classroom setting, try this. Before delivering any content or even taking attendance, take 1 minute. Take 1 minute to create a space of compassion and connection. Ask students to notice their feet on the ground, listen to sounds in the room, and together take one breath. That's it. 1 minute of arrival before the learning begins. Now, if you're not a teacher, try it at your next meeting, at dinner with the kids, anywhere where humans gather and tend to race past each other. Take 1 minute. Now, if you're a leader in a school, here's the thought. Protect 1 hour each week where no learning is required, just space, just connection, just awe. And call it what you like, but guard it fiercely, because in a world that keeps telling us to go faster, do more, be quicker, our most courageous act might be just to slow down and feel the frequency of being human. Now, I'm not saying this will solve everything, but I am saying this. Every meaningful action in human history began when someone chose to move differently than the world expected. 7.83 cycles per second, that's the Earth's frequency. And as our world gets faster, what will always matter most are the frequencies only humans can feel, the ones that hum with the sound of life itself. So let's create schools that don't mute the hum, but instead help every young person find their voice. Because when we do that, we not only teach differently, we listen differently. And when humans are truly heard, the world responds. And that is the human hum. Thank you.